Money in the Bank is this Sunday. And there are currently 5 matches planned. There were 6, but one of them was pulled for this SmackDown. Bianca Belair, not at this time, planned to be on the Money in the Bank card, unless they're planning to have a rematch of Carmella because Sasha Banks gets involved. What can I say? I find Sasha Banks getting involved to be very, very likely. But let's run down the card and just say who I expect to be winning each individual match and how. Admittedly, right now we're still missing one name for the Women's Money in the Bank. I'm going to assume that Toni Storm will be added to that match. I'm going to assume that Toni Storm will be added. So the first match I'm going to talk about is the Raw Women's Championship match. Rhea Ripley defending against Charlotte Flair. And I think this feud goes all the way to SummerSlam. I think it gets more and more hardcore as it goes. And I think at SummerSlam we'll get the no holds barred, hardcore, falls count anywhere sort of match that we're all expecting this to end with. At the moment, it's still planned to be a standard match, just a one-on-one, no special stipulations. With this in mind, I think Rhea Ripley escapes with the title again. I think she escapes with the title much like she did last time. They're trying to establish that Rhea Ripley has an edge and has a bit of fury to her. I think it's detrimental to the character because much like Asuka, she's being shown that she can't win matches on her own. That's what they're saying to us. Rhea Ripley cannot win matches solo. I don't like it, but I think they will continue to do so, and then we will have another match between the two of them at SummerSlam. Next up is the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match, which currently contains Nikki Cross, Asuka, Naomi, Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, Zelina Vega and Natalya. Once again, I'm assuming that Toni Storm will be the 8th. Ultimately, I don't think it actually matters because I don't think they're winning it. Of the people in this match, there is a number that I think you can literally just eliminate from the off with no real worries. I think you can literally say, for example, Liv Morgan, no chance of winning. Naomi, Asuka, no chance of winning. Zelina Vega, very low chance of winning. Natalya, very low chance of winning. For me in this match, it comes down to 2 people. Nikki Cross is a possibility. Her new character could definitely work, given how colourful she is with that briefcase. And I do feel her current persona actually melds really well with that sort of environment. But it's unusual for a face to pick up the briefcase. It's more logical for me for Alexa Bliss to win the briefcase. It's more logical from where I'm sitting for Alexa Bliss to do the whole Bray Wyatt thing where the lights go out, the lights come back on, and she stood on the turnbuckles holding the briefcase. And then the lights go off and she vanishes again. I feel Alexa Bliss in this stalker character that she's doing right now will be winning that briefcase and will be catching it in successfully, probably on Rhea Ripley and probably quite early. That is my expectation for the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. The Men's Money in the Bank ladder match is next up, and it contains Kevin Owens, Drew McIntyre, Matt Riddle, Ricochet, Morrison, Big E, Nakamura and Seth Rollins. This one has a lot of potential winners. I think we can eliminate Ricochet, John Morrison, Big E, Nakamura and Kevin Owens fairly comfortably. That leaves Matt Riddle, who I think could be very good with the briefcase, especially with his storyline already with Lashley. It leaves Drew McIntyre, who could take the briefcase and use that to get one more opportunity against Bobby Lashley at SummerSlam, and then move across to SmackDown. If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube, please do so for more information as to Drew McIntyre moving over to SmackDown. But I think the obvious choice is Seth Rollins, and I think he would fail at a cash in. I think logically, Seth Rollins takes this one. I want Matt Riddle to take it. I think he's a more interesting story, but I think it will be Seth Rollins, and I'll explain why a little bit later. We have Bobby Lashley taking on Kofi Kingston for the WWE Championship, and I'm going to be really, really blunt here. Kofi Kingston has no chance in hell of taking that WWE Championship away from Bobby Lashley. I just definitely never see it happening. Kofi Kingston is in a very strong position getting a second run at Kofi Mania, but it's not a second run at Kofi Mania. They've elevated him back towards the main event, but he'll drop off again. and he'll drop off hard. I get the feeling Kofi's being elevated back up for a storyline down the way, probably with someone like Sheamus though. I think that's more likely. Now, that means Bobby Lashley retains and goes up against whoever he goes up against at SummerSlam, and it of course means that Big E is likely to get a storyline when he goes from SmackDown to Raw. Again, subscribe to YouTube for more information on that. That's the current plan. Can't guarantee it's absolutely going to happen. Michael says, I miss Kofi as champion. I get that. I totally respect it. Matt says, I disagree with Liv Morgan. The way they're booking her, she has a chance to win it. You're supposed to think that. And Sean Garner says, Big E should win. I don't agree. I do think he's moving across in the draft, and I just don't think they'll give it to someone who's moving across in the draft after the absolute mess that was Otis and The Miz last year. Ugh, that was a mess. This leaves us with our main event. Our main event will be for the Universal Championship, a one-on-one match between Roman Reigns and Edge. And I believe after about 15 minutes of this match, it will end up being a triple threat match between Roman Reigns, Edge, and Seth Rollins, which will be won when Roman Reigns spears Seth Rollins and picks up the win. This leads nicely into Roman Reigns versus John Cena at SummerSlam, and it leads even more nicely into Seth Rollins versus Edge at SummerSlam. We cannot take the championship away from Roman Reigns right now, and I definitely think Edge is the wrong person. Edge is the wrong person to take this championship. So instead, let's move on from this. Let's all go our separate ways. Let's have Roman retain. And even though it spends a briefcase to do so, I personally think it's just good storytelling to do it. They'll have Alexa Bliss spending her time over several months stalking. We don't need two of those. We don't need two. Matt says, I'd still think Nakamura's favourite who screwed out of a title match at the Rumble. Yeah, and WWE have focused very strongly on that ever since. They forgot he was there, mostly. I'm pretty sure he's only in to fill a spot at this point. He will definitely add to the match. Definitely. Sean says Big E versus Lashley at SummerSlam with Big E winning. Why? Why? When they could instead do Big E versus Lashley for several months after SummerSlam. And Michael says, I'd rather have Seth be the one with the briefcase stalking. It's possible. Seth's character does work in that environment. It could be that he teases a cash-in, and that's the distraction needed for Roman to get the win over Edge. It could be that it doesn't go triple threat, and instead we do that, and then Seth Rollins later on tries to use it against Roman. Ghost of Nay says, I think there'll be one Money in the Bank winner from Raw and the other on SmackDown, since it's the first pay-per-view. Welcome, dear real Robert U. Idolo. Thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the show. You'll get a notification every Monday, every Friday for spoiler warning. And thank you very much, La Patatina54 for the follow. Welcome. And I can see you in the chat. Fantastic, Daryl. Welcome to the show, guys. This is spoiler warning. This is wrestling-based news. We do this every Monday, every Friday. You'll get a notification. It starts at 10 p.m. UK time, 5 p.m. EST. And in addition to that, we also do Raw and SmackDown watch-alongs, and we do gaming content on Tuesdays and on Thursdays. We'll also be doing a live Money in the Bank watch-along, so keep an eye out for that.